Hello and good morning, everybody. Yesterday, Pavel asked a very popular question on Slack, and I decided to record this video to help him and others who want to understand this. So he tried to put event date, as you see here, into the Fusion Objects key, and then access it in a different place. Referring to this variable, and it didn't work. So let's try to do the same and understand why it doesn't work. So we just have some hello world object. Let's see that it works, and we put world into a separate key like this. And let's try to access it like this. Doesn't work. But to understand why it doesn't work, let's first try to understand how we can use variables in Fusion. So in this case, the world key is defined on the same level as the content key where we want to use it. So we can just use this to refer to it. So this .world would point to object keys of this same object, right? So use this when you just have a bunch of keys and you want to refer one key from another one. Let's try to go a bit deeper and nest it. Say, let's put a link tag inside it, like this. And so would this work inside a link? No. You see the link is created, but this .world is pointing to a world key on this link object, and there is no such key, so we get just hello. So how would we access world from here? And the short answer is there's no way to do it with this. So we should use the concept of context variables for this. In short, they are defined like this with the context keyword, and they are used just as a variable would, like this. And context variables are available below the place where they are defined, and down below and inside, or down, as you would say. So no matter how many levels deep you go, the world context variable would always be there, unless you set it, of course. Alright, so this is how it basically works. Neos comes with a few predefined context variables like site, document, node, and node. So Neos puts these context variables for us into content, so we can do something like node, or I don't know, site properties title would access the title property on the site, right? Yeah. And it's important to understand the concept of this context. Why it's done this way? The idea is that you can dip your Fusion object inside like a pool of your context. So you can reuse the same object and when you put it into different contexts, it would render different things appropriately. So if we just do like node properties title, it would render a title of a current page. But if we set a current node to something different, it would render a title of that node. And it's a very important and kind of tricky concept of out-of-band rendering. This is what it's used for. So you can always take any Fusion path, any Fusion object, and put it into different context, and it would work. So this is kind of like an idea of decoupling your context from your rendering and presentational layer. So that's important to understand why context variables work the way they work. So to quickly recap, use this to access keys on the same level, and use context to set some context that would be deeply available inside your child objects. And also one last thing, beware that something like this would not work if we try to refer to a context variable that is defined on the same level. It just wouldn't work. It's not defined yet at this point when we are defining a new one. But it would work if the world was defined one level above, then it would already be available here. But these are a bit tricky concepts. You just have to start using them. Just keep in mind that this dot something and just the variable name are two completely different concepts. If you can use this dot something, use it. It's more efficient and it's quicker. If you need something to be globally available to all of your child objects, use context, but use it with caution, of course, because it's like a very advanced and tricky thing. And ask me questions if this explanation was not clear enough for you. Maybe I would have to do a follow-up, because as the life shows, this concept of context variables takes some time to get right. And have a nice day.